I'm delighted to welcome Andrea Isaacs onto our show today. Andrea is the founder of the Emotional and Life Mastery Institute, and she's the creator of the EQ quiz. She's known by her clients as a master of change. She helps visionary, capable entrepreneurs stop pushing themselves from the inside and start living with clarity, confidence, and ease. After nearly dying on an operating table and confronting the fear of leaving this world with her gift still inside, Andrea has committed her life's work to helping others make that impact now, because now is the only time we have. Her clients in 30 countries have transformed self-doubt and hesitation into unshakable confidence and built meaningful, visible success, including 6- and 7-figure businesses, by aligning their inner world with the impact they're here to create. Andrea, it's fantastic to have you on the show today. I'm so glad you could join us.
Thank you, Danny, and it's a delight to be here with you.
So I want to start off by finding out, how did you start on your entrepreneurial journey? Were you always doing what you're doing now?
No, not at all. I was a professional dancer for my first professional career. I did that for 25 years, where I really learned how to embody a whole range of emotion. So my dancers would be so that my dancers would be powerful and authentic in expressing themselves on stage. Fast forward, I came across a personality system called the Enneagram, and I learned for the first time why I had been so painfully shy most of my life. And because of my background with embodiment, I wanted an embodied, a kinesthetic way to learn this really interesting system. And I
Mm.
knew it could exist, that it should exist, and that it's an important learning channel, and it did not exist. So I created one. First, I thought it was just a learning modality for learning the system. But what happened next surprised me, because I finally became confident and I realized I was moving in the way of a confident person. I had created a neural pathway for confidence. And then I realized my work is not just about the Enneagram. It's about embodying whatever emotion you want or need. And that really changed everything in my life. And I started teaching it first as a system inside the Enneagram world. And then people wanted more. And then they wanted me to be their coach. And I was like, well, and to teach them what I was doing. And it was so intuitive to me. I said, I can't teach this. I just following my intuition. And people kept asking me to be their coach. So I finally started, and to teach my system. So I finally started to do it. And I was really surprised when one of my students in my first program, when I was teaching my system, said, wait a minute, you have a method. And she had taken good notes on what I had been doing. She said, you always do this, and then you do that, and then you do that. And I'm like, right, I do that. Anyway, that was really the beginning of realizing I had more. I had so much more that I had not understood. And I didn't know about being an entrepreneur yet. But that was what began my teaching this program around the world, when they kept asking me for it. And I finally said, okay, all right, I'll do that.
So when you started your business, were you on your own? Did you have a partner you worked with?
No, I've always been a solopreneur. I never had a partner. I think, when I look at other people's businesses, it seems actually that those that have a partner in their business have there's an element, there's a missing element. It's not just 1 + 1 = 2.
Hmm.
There's a third thing that comes up with the synergy of people who are combining their ideas, their thoughts, the feedback, the reflection, the being seen, and the being lifted up by another. I've had people in my life who have done that with me and for me, and in a reciprocal way, of course. But to have a partner in my business, actually, that's been a longing of mine in a certain way.
So with being a solopreneur can be quite lonely, and many of us, although we don't have a partner in our business, we bring partners in for different purposes. So, what was your first taste of partnering with somebody
Mhm.
maybe in a more informal way?
Right. Well, I'll look at it in terms of my business first.
Hmm.
I'll always remember my first joint venture partner. It was someone that I knew through a mutual colleague and friend, and we were aligned so much in terms of our passion about life, and in some ways in how we did our businesses, even though our businesses were totally different, our passion was really similar. So it was a really good match. And as you know, Danny, that's really essential when you do a partnership, especially in JVs. And because our messages or our methods, because of the alignment between us, our audiences were also aligned.
Hmm.
And my list grew exponentially because of that. It was amazing the visibility that I got because of that partnership. And I think I did the same for him. And that was a real eye opener for me that, hey, this thing really works. This JV thing really works.
How did you discover that? Because a lot of people who I meet, and when I talk to them about the idea of a joint venture, it's new to them.
Sure.
Maybe they go and look for people at networking events, or they maybe connect to people on
Right.
LinkedIn. So how did you discover this way of growing a business?
Well, you're right that a lot of people don't know the value of it. In fact, in the Enneagram world, then this is like 30 years ago, people in the Enneagram world did not do joint venture partners. I'm not mailing for you. Why would I mail for you? It'd be competition for me, my business, and so on. They had all these reasons, as I did, for not doing it.
Mm.
And then I don't remember how I first came across JVIC, Joint Venture Inner Circle, which had an annual event called JVX, the Joint Venture Experience. I don't remember how I first came across it, but I did. And I
Mm.
started to learn for the first time the value of the right partnership and that it doesn't take anything away from me. It is not competition. It's really supporting each other and supporting each other's audiences. But there's two things I want to say at the same time, one at a time. Uh, when I went to my first JVX, that's where I met Mark Porteous, who I know you know because that's where I met you at one of
Yeah.
Mark's events. So I met Mark, I guess it was 2015 or 2016, and we became instant friends, and he hadn't yet started his business. One of the things about JV partnerships, or any partnership really, is it's the opportunity to be seen.
Mm.
And when we're seen and acknowledged for who we are growing into being, especially when we're growing our business or growing ourselves internally, to be seen for who you are becoming rather than to be seen for your flaws or the mistakes or your challenges or problems. I mean, it's useful to have that seen and understood, but to be seen and uplifted for who you're growing into being
Yeah.
is an awesome gift. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that came out of that experience. What was the other thing I wanted to say now? I don't remember. That's okay.
That's fine. There's so much to talk about. So
Yeah.
I want to know, how did you overcome that this idea that I can't work with you, your competition? How did you how did you manage to kind of get over that, how did you come to realize that it wasn't? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that. They kind of think, well, you and I are doing the same thing. How can we collaborate together?
Right.
How do you think? What do you think is the what do you think? What's the mind shift? What's the mindset shift there that people need to make?
I learned it in a combination of ways. One is the JVIC training was really insightful. I
Yeah.
don't think that training exists anymore, but people like you, of course, have a lot to teach about this. But the ideal partnership is not necessarily someone who does the exact same thing as you,
Mm.
but someone who has maybe their clients have a stumbling block that they don't solve, and yours addresses that same kind of audience and has the solution to a particular
Yeah.
challenge. Here's a little example. If someone's teaching is who's great at teaching the strategies about building a business, and yet they don't understand why their clients aren't doing the work, why aren't they moving forward? Why aren't they showing up?
Yeah.
There's a piece missing, and often that missing piece is you could call it a soft skill. It's the inner work, the inner capacity hasn't caught up with their potential yet. And so when I work with them, I help them break through those limiting beliefs, and then they go back to the person who was maybe my partner, who was in their audience, and then they're able to make the progress with the strategy and the program development and so on.
That's a good example, and I also see a lot of programs where one business is basically helping their clients to scale by teaching them marketing strategy, and another business is helping clients to scale by helping them to overcome mindset issues. So
Right.
maybe those business owners are struggling with the whole way they look at abundance, and they feel that there's not enough of anything, and that they, as a result of their whole attitude, it stunts their business growth. But they're both legitimate. You need to have the right attitude, you need to have the right
Exactly.
mindset, but you also need to have the right strategies. And it may be that although both businesses are coming to the growth from different places, they're both about growth, but they're coming from different places. And it might be that some of the people on your audience might gravitate to one, and some might gravitate to the other.
Mhm.
So I think that's very good. And I often use the phrase co-opetition. Um,
Co-opposition.
Co-opetition. as
Say
opposed
more
to
about what you mean by
cooperate and
opposition.
competition.
Cooperating and not opposition. Is that what you're saying?
Co-opetition.
Yeah.
So
Say more what you mean by that.
it's a word play on cooperation and competition. So they're not really quite competition, they're more there's more of a cooperation opportunity.
Yeah, that's
And quite it's quite rare that businesses do exactly the same things in my experience. Like, you might have, for example, a law firm which might have more of an emphasis on family law, and another law firm which might have more of an emphasis on things like probate, helping people draw up wills and trusts and things like that. So I'm just giving just giving a couple of examples of how, and I think maybe the reason that people have uh, this fear of competition. It's also maybe they've come from networking where their experience of networking was maybe networking locally with local businesses, where maybe only one business in the room is in that function. So there might be one
right.
marketing expert, one lawyer, one
Right.
accountant, one CP,
Right.
one financial planner, etc. Whereas I
Right.
think when you are collaborating online, things are much more fluid.
I think something to include in that is to accept the truth that we are not good at everything. We
Yeah.
each have our own areas of expertise and where our passion lies. And so it's great to find someone who has something similar and their area of expertise is different. So that's really important.
Yeah, and
Something else,
it also just might be your approach is different, right?
sure.
It might be the way it might be the way this person's program is structured is more amenable to where I'm at. It might be
Hmm.
the personality of the founder or the coach running the business. You
Hmm.
feel a more affinity to that person's approach. Some people are more aggressive, tell it as it is. Some people have a much more gentle demeanor. There are all sorts of reasons why you gravitate towards certain businesses, but I think
Absolutely.
again, it's about having a. I actually think that the right mindset with partnerships is also to have an abundance. If you have an abundance mindset, you don't have this feeling of, oh, this person's going to take my business
Take
away.
away.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
there's a big enough pie for all of us to eat from.
The
Um,
world is a big pie. Yes.
I want to ask you. So you talked about you described an early partnership which was very fruitful for you. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the other partnerships that you've been involved in?
Well, certainly one with Mark. One of the things that I really appreciate about partnership in my story with Mark
Yeah,
is because he saw the value of my work. He
yeah,
saw me. And so when I went through the challenges of building my business, it wasn't just that he gave me strategy. He
mm,
saw my potential. So there's
yeah,
something about someone who sees where you're going, who can see
yeah,
your dream and believes in you. That
yeah,
is so precious to have
yeah,
someone see your dream and believe in you and your capacity to achieve it.
yeah.
I want to add, you asked me a question earlier. I want to add to my answer about what's holding people back. Why aren't they, like really going for doing these partnerships? We have to be willing to, how shall I say, to ask for help, to ask for support.
Mm,
Sometimes people think that asking for support or wanting or needing support is a sign of weakness or vulnerability that's a wrong or bad thing, as if
yeah,
you'll see me as less than if I need your help. It's not that. It's like we all have areas where we're not strong.
yeah,
And when we were willing to accept that we could use support, there's something about being seen in a deeper way that's also very precious.
yeah.
And
That's true.
when
That.
we ask for it to actually get the support that we want or need
Yeah,
is such a beautiful thing in life. But it means being willing to be vulnerable and not seeing it as competition, as you were saying.
yeah, yeah. I would agree with that. Um, I think that I think what's special about if I can go back to your relationship with Mark Porteous, I think if I understand correctly, that's also a partnership that really has been about, because people often think about partnership is that I'm the giver and you're the receiver. So, we're in partnership. Um, I've got a great offer that you're promoting, and obviously you're earning commission, so that's your win. And obviously, you're promoting my offer and you're sending people onto my email list to buy from me. But I think what's been quite special about your relationship with Mark is that it's also a two-way. It's two-way in the sense that there have been times when I believe you have supported Mark and Mark has also supported you. Is that correct?
You nailed it really. So as I know because I think I mentioned this when I was gave my talk at Mark's event. I helped Mark with his first event when he was really afraid about making an offer to a room full of entrepreneurs, much more successful than he had been at that point.
Yeah.
And he broke six figures at his first event. And
Yeah.
later on, we worked together again, and I saw some other things that were holding him back, and he broke seven. So, yes, I have supported Mark. And oh my God, has Mark supported me? And as you know, he's invited me to be on his stage at his events,
Yeah.
at several, I think like four or five of his events. And that is such a huge act of support and believing in me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think that's I think I think where a partnership really does wonders is the fact that you're not necessarily often there's the one who's more needy and there's the one who's the coach who's providing help. But I think partnership is often the fact that you're both at different stages on your journey and you're both
Hmm.
going to be going through difficult periods. And it's about the fact that you're both there to support each other through those, highs and lows.
Yeah, and the other thing that my story about Mark illustrates is that when we support each other, it doesn't have to be I help you in this way and you help me in the same way. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you need?
Yeah.
And it could be something totally different. So the
Correct.
way we support each other can be not necessarily the exact match, but it's exactly what the other needs.
Correct. So I would add something there about reciprocation that I work with partners where they expect reciprocation. So it might be that they have promoted something of mine,
Hmm.
and they have. I've had for example, an event I'm running, some live training, and they will tell their audience about it. They'll send subscribers who sign up for it. And the way I might reciprocate may not be exactly the same. It may be that I have given them some of my time to help them. It may be that I have actually referred people to them that they will partner. I've referred partners to them that they can work with. So it's not thinking in terms of it's about not being transactional
Hmm.
and just thinking more in a way of where do my biggest strengths lie in terms of where I can support you. It may be that you happen to possess a large audience, and that's obviously something I might really want to tap into. That's where I need the most help. It may be that you're looking for great partners, and that's where I can help you. So I think with a partnership, it's just understanding what's the most valuable. Don't necessarily be fixated on, well, this person needs help with this. I've got to give them the same sort of help, right? You
Right.
need leads. You're sending me leads. I'll send you leads. It might be about, no, you've got a specific problem that you need help with. I've got a specific problem I need help with, and that's how we support each other.
I want to say something about not being transactional.
Mm.
It's so true. It's about building the relationship. In fact, relationship is essential. It's best when that is established and nurtured first. And
Yeah,
I want to say something too of being an introvert in
yeah,
business because as introverts often aren't as their strong point isn't necessarily building relationships.
yeah,
And that's something that we introverts have to get over because building relationship is essential in
yeah,
business because it's not just with potential partners or current and ongoing partnerships, it's also with our clients. And when we want to work with certain people as our clients, it's not about the transaction, it's
yeah.
building the relationship. And that's really key to business and the key to life.
Yeah, yeah. I think you got. I think that partnerships actually work very well for people who are introverts because a lot of um, people who I work with who are introverts, they're very good at showing up for master classes. They're very good at showing up for live events, but they find it quite tiring having to go out and reach out to lots of people. So if a partner comes along and says, "Listen, I've got a lots of people that I would like to introduce you to," it's much easier. It's much more, it's less draining, less exhausting than actually going out and having to do lots of networking and lots of hustling to find those people.
That comparison is really helpful because if you are reluctant to reach out and make the call or reach out to someone, compare it to the challenge of going to a network event,
Yeah,
which is, I think, as you say, is more difficult.
yeah, yeah. So no, it very interestingly, I'm not never really figured out why, but a lot of people I know who are very good on the stage are
Mhm.
introverts. And a lot of the people in the audience who are not on the stage, but who are quietly working the room, talking to people, are the extroverts.
That's so
And
true.
I'm not sure why that is. Um,
I know many years ago, I think I don't know, 2015, maybe 10 years ago, I gave a talk to a room full of about 300 and some entrepreneurs. And I started with a question, raise your hand if you've ever been shy or introverted. Almost every hand went up.
yeah,
I was shocked because these were all entrepreneurs and I thought I was the only introvert, right?
yeah, Yeah,
You're right. I think one of the reasons might be because as introverts, we live in the inner world and all of that, which makes us more aware of our gifts and also our challenges.
yeah,
And that's really such an important key in terms of the work we create. And
yeah,
so the work that we create has a richness and a depth that I think people are drawn to.
yeah. Also, I think that the people who are very good at speaking on the stage, it's a different type of interaction with people. You're
It's not,
interacting with
yeah.
the audience.
I
Very,
don't see it as
isn't
being
it?
an
That's
extrovert.
much. It's much harder work to interact individually. Much more exhausting
Yeah.
interacting individually with lots of people.
When people see me on stage afterwards, they can't believe that I'm an introvert.
Yeah, yeah. But again,
Yeah.
as you said very clearly, that's where JVs come into their own because you don't necessarily have to. You don't necessarily have to spend as much time talking to lots of people. You've got someone who's bringing the people you're looking for right to your door. Um, As we come to the close of our discussion, I wanted to just ask you if you have a final thought on who would be, if our entrepreneurs who listen to this podcast are thinking, well, JVs sound like a great, like a great route forward for my business. What would be your advice to them?
Hmm. To go for it, to just ask yourself what you need
Mm.
and to focus really on building relationship. Just connect, make the call, send the email, introduce yourself. And if you're shy, if you're introvert, we have to just get over it. Just make the call, just reach out. Because if we don't reach out, the reciprocity can't even begin.
Yeah,
So reciprocity really is key here.
yeah, fantastic. Well, Andrea, it's been amazing to have you on the show. I want to ask you, if our audience would like to find out more about you, where can they go?
Thank you for asking me. I think the best thing to do is to take my EQ quiz because you'll not only learn more about me, you'll learn more about yourself. You can find it at eqquiz.com. And it's really my gift to you because it's the first tool in the emotional mastery toolkit. And what you'll get in the toolkit is the opportunity to take the quiz, which reveals not just your zone of genius, your whatever it points to your unique combination of gifts that reveals your life purpose. Sometimes when we're not moving forward, when we're holding back, it's because we're not aligned with our purpose yet.
Yeah,
And your results of the quiz also reveals what's been holding you back for either clarity about or living your purpose. And my passion is for all of you to live your purpose now, because as Danny said earlier, now is the only time we have. So if you want to remove those blocks and really accelerate your momentum towards your passion and your purpose, take the quiz, eqquiz.com. And I can't wait to talk to you because you also get an invitation to a call with me where I will personally interpret your quiz results. And
that's
you're
great.
unique, is unique, and I love talking to people about how that shows up for each of you.
That's great. That's great. And we'll put that in the show notes.
Thank
Andrea,
you.
thank you so much for coming on to our show today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, Danny. Pleasure being here.